Welcome back to First Watch, the series on my channel where I usually let fate decide the next film that I get to review. The only rule in general is that I'm not allowed to have ever seen it before. And I signified usually because this time around it was not fate that decided that I watch this movie. Technically, fate told me to watch The Brothers Grimm instead, and trust me, I tried to. I turned it on, and then I was like, Needless to say, I needed something else to watch, so I decided to watch the sequel to the very first Watch review that I ever did, Before Sunset. Let's get cracking. It has been 9 years since Jesse met Celine by chance for the very first time, and that experience sparked up his love of writing. He ended up writing a semi-successful novel on the experience and is currently on the last leg of a book tour when he spots Celine again, or rather she spots him, and the two of them once again discuss life, what's been going on in the last 9 years, the ups, the downs throughout, all the while they head to the airport for Jesse to return back home. This series, I don't even know how to put it. I really don't. I've never felt so bittersweet watching anything in my entire life because I really like this movie. I actually want to say that I love it. But what's causing such a big ruckus for me internally right now is the fact that how I review and score any given film, this movie just doesn't work for that. There's absolutely no narrative in the movie. There's no goal, there's no protagonist, there's no antagonist. Heck, there's hardly even a clear main character either. And those things are usually vital in how I review any given movie. Heck, the entire reason why I call my channel Interpreting the Stars in the first place is because I literally interpret why a movie is scored the way it is. Because I can break it down, beat for beat. I can even explain the difference between a 73% and a 74% score. Or at least I could. My channel used to do that before I realized nobody actually cared about that. My reviews used to be super boring because I would break it down beat for beat. That's besides the point. My end score right now is basically a summary, but I still score everything the same way I always have. Without the things that I usually look for though, my scoring spreadsheet is going to reflect a lower grade than how I personally felt about this movie, which was honestly fantastic. And I'm pissed off because of that. I want to look at this movie and say, see, no narrative, no archetypal characters, and the movie falls flat because of it. That's what I want to say, but I can't. Because this film has something that not many other movies have. When the narrative is stripped away, when all of those archetype and functions are taken out of the picture altogether, what's left behind is soul. That's what this film is. There's no better way to explain it. It's just pure soul. Again, I'm pissed off because nowhere on my scoring spreadsheet has a spot for soul. The chemistry that these two have together is perfect. I wish that I had that kind of chemistry with somebody where you could just literally talk all day, nonstop, for hours, because you're just that kind of person. They had great chemistry in the first film, but it's perfect now. Because what's built in is just the mere fact that they hadn't made a movie in 9 years. So they actually knew each other for a good decade at this point, and that chemistry is all that more real. What's even more insane about this film is just how poetic it is in its sense of romance. This is a romance film that's not romantic. How on God's green earth do you manage that? These two are in committed relationships, whether that means that they're married with kids or they have boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever. But they still share this bond. You can still tell when they're just talking about nothing of significance, and I really do mean nothing important. I mean, they could just be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog for all I care. The point is that you feel their chemistry through their words. You feel their characters' love for one another, and especially the pain that they have because they can't really do anything about it. It's very real in that sense. It's very almost dark, really. They have grown as characters though, so even though they still talk a lot like they did in the first movie, the energy about them's different. They're wiser. Maybe they're even jaded because of the experiences that they've both had throughout life. Maybe they've settled in life and hate themselves for it. A lot of that emotion comes through as the film progresses in a very real-time pacing. It's practically impossible to describe what this movie's even about because it's not really about anything. It's made to make you feel something insanely human and raw. Maybe it's because I'm currently in my 30s now and I can relate a lot more to the expressions that these two give off, or even elements of their own lives that they're happy and proud about, yet also bitter and resentful for. Again, I want to say masterpiece. I really do. I think it's better than the first, but maybe that's just because I just need to rewatch the first after having seen this with a new sense of appreciation for it. But the fact that my scoring spreadsheet doesn't really apply to a film like this makes me want to say more than ever that I really do think that it's impeccable and a masterpiece, but I will show you what I scored the film anyway. Take it with a grain of salt though. That score is an A- letter grade, final overall score of 88%, 88 out of 100 possible stars. Again, that might be a high score naturally, right? A- isn't bad, but I think the real score should be higher because my scoring spreadsheet places a lot of importance on those elements of the narrative. And those things just aren't important for this trilogy. So if I were to somehow curve the score to take that into consideration, I'm not sure what that would look like. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was around 95%, which would keep my bias score where it is and give the technical score 100%. There's no way to know though. Guys, what are your thoughts on Before Sunset? Is it your favorite of the trilogy? And if not, which one is? As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next installment for First Watch. And until then, peace.